Welcome to What is title work?
Title work is another date and deadline in the contract, which means that if there anything that is a date and a deadline in the contract is something that the buyer can object to, or
Terminate.
renegotiate or terminate, then there are some things that are negotiable and there's some things that aren't. Title insurance is, or the title work that's going to be provided is provided by an outside entity, a title company, who the seller contracts, or sometimes the buyer can choose. Again, that's negotiable in the contract. And what the title insurance is going to do is it's going to pull anything that's been ever recorded on the property, whether it be the lien on the home for the mortgage amount, whether it's a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, whether it's a mechanics lien, which those are super fun, tax lien.
Or they would be judgments.
Judgments against the home. So anything that's ever happened surrounding the home, maybe it is a handshake that you had with your neighbor, that their fence could be in 3 feet of your yard, that's been recorded. All of those things are going to come up.
Or not recorded.
Or not recorded.
Or promised to them and not recorded.
Recorded.
Those are off record.
Off record title matters. So the title company is going to find that title, search.
Oh, there's a big one too. They want to make sure that who is selling the house actually owns a house and can actually sell it.
Oh, that is a new fun thing that people are doing.
Yes.
Scam. That's what the word is. Another scam. So we're going to find all these things out. And on that title work, we're going to get it and we're going to give it to you. And we're going to say, please look at your title work and call the title company with questions, because we can't interpret it, but we can say, ooh, you might want to ask about this one.
Yeah, because we have our eyes on it.
Yeah.
So, because we want to make sure also. So, say that you're buying a $500,000 home and they have a mortgage that they just got 2 years ago for $498,000, and we're like, is there going to be enough money to pay all the closing costs and commissions and all that? So, yeah, we do look at it and make sure that if there were other judgments or if there were other things on the property that maybe the seller didn't even realize, then we can take care of all those things prior to closing or on the day of closing. But they are things that could affect if you have a closing.
True. And it could affect if you want the property. So if Joe Bob and Joe Billy shook hands and Joe Bob has access to 7 feet of your driveway when he wants to back up in his trailer, and that's not an agreement that you want to continue, or you're not comfortable with, that's a reason to get out of that contract.
Definitely object
to object. So title work, again, the title company is going to provide it. And it is important to ask questions on the document. I think a lot of times people come to us and go, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
A lot of times.
Which is totally okay, because it is, but that's a good time to ask questions.
There's also a thing called Owner's Extended Coverage, OEC, and people are confused about that. Personally, I'm confused as to why the people that write our contracts decided to split that out.
Yeah, we think,
It's had always been included, and then they split it out. It's anywhere between $75 and $90 additional dollars, and that dollar amount can be negotiated. And so, everybody's like, well, how much is it? And it's like $75 to $90. Like, okay, whatever. But it covers up to six of the exceptions that are on the title work. So, are you confused yet? Because it's very easy to get confused, and that's why you need a really good realtor to help you get through all this, and then a good title closer.
That is confusing. But I will just say, because I have to say it now that you put it out loud, it's like the knock thing. A mechanics lien, which is a lien that can go on your property if the seller didn't pay somebody that did work on the property, doesn't show up on the title search if you don't get the OEC. So it's very important to have that and to know that. Sorry, I just had to get it out.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so it's insurance. I know you're like, title insurance. It is truly insurance. So we have had incidents, not very often, but we have had it where the buyer calls us, and the buyer's agent calls and says, hey, my buyer just got a tax notice on the property, and this should have been taken care of. I'm like, well, it was taken care of. They're like, well, no, it's not, because they're going to say they're going to put a lien on the house if the taxes don't get paid. And so, insurance. You call the title insurance company and say, hey, did you not handle this correctly? Because that is their job at the very end, to make sure that when that deed is transferred, that it's clear and free of any encumbrances whatsoever. So you do, like any other insurance company, you might have to spend a little bit of time arguing with them to get it taken care of, but I've never
That's
had
what
them
they're there
not.
for.
Yeah, I've never had them not, in the end, go ahead and take care of them. Another thing that the title insurance does is that they perform the closing. So the lender gives their figures to the title company, and then the title company and the lender agree upon all the figures that are going to be on the settlement sheet. And then they send that to both the buyer and the listing agent, so we can look through and make sure that, hey, was there an amend extend that the title company didn't get? Was there a $2,000 seller credit that we didn't have to begin with? So then all of us, the lender, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the title company, we all look at it, show it to our clients, go review it with our clients before we get to the closing, wink wink, and be sure that all the numbers are right. So when we get to the closing, there isn't any surprises, or, I mean, it happens, things happen, so sometimes we do have to change it. But overall, that's what the title company does. And the title company also does all this recording afterwards. And they record the deed. They remove the lien from the previous owner. They put the new lien on, and we have seen sometimes that doesn't happen. So we have to make sure that gets taken care of. So there's a lot of things that the title company does ensure, because somebody's paying for it, that it's a clear title when the new buyer gets it.
They do a lot. They're also the company that disperses funds. So we can also go ahead and say wire fraud is real. Anytime you're putting money into a transaction, whether it be earnest money or it's, your funds to close,
Mm-hmm.
Wire fraud is real. Most of the times these things are done through wires nowadays. So we always recommend you call the title company to confirm wiring instructions, and have your bank call them to confirm wiring instructions. So we'll go ahead, just plug that right now. But they distribute the funds. So also after closing, you're going to have escrows. So they'll escrow water for the final water reading
From the
seller, and the seller will get that money back. So they're still, they do a lot.
Mm-hmm. They do. And they also, again, because they're an insurance company, they also will correct their mistakes if it's something that they did.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So title insurance is a big part of your closing, and we want to make sure that you understand it. Therefore, if there are questions on the title once we get it, and it's a big commitment, you read through a lot, usually the closer will always be more than happy to go through that with you and explain it to you. It's very important to Amber and I that our clients know exactly what it is, because I can tell you some of our clients that have had transactions before us had no idea what title insurance is. So
correct. And yes, education, we like it.
Yeah. So call us if you have any questions about title.